Yes or yes?
Yes.
Me acordé. Okay, Joali, Altair, no more questions?
No.
No.
Okay, very good. Let's do the activity letter E. It says grammar practice. It says, read the statements, read the true statements. Then on a separate sheet of paper, write unreal conditional sentence statements with your own opinions using the passive voice in if clauses. For example, operations aren't always performed by robots. If operations were always performed by robots, there would never be any surgical errors. For example, in this case, we are not using passive voice in the second sentence, only in the first sentence. If our operations were always performed by robots, there would never be any surgical errors, okay? So you can, according to this, you have to answer the sentences, you have to change the sentences using this structure, okay? It depends on you. You decide if you want to use the second part with a passive voice or not, okay? So please do it. When you finish, you give me the answers. Okay, go ahead. When you finish, you tell me, please. Remember that you, in the case of the result, you decide if you want to use a passive voice or not. Okay.
Finish, teacher.
Okay, very good. Joali Altaid, are you ready? Joali Altaid, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Altaid.
Simón. Sí.
Okay, so let's do. All right. Number one, Andres.
If chips were implanted in our bodies at birth, our rights will be violated.
Okay. Can you repeat again? Chips
If
are
chips
in our bodies at birth. Okay. So if chips.
were implanted in our bodies at birth, our rights would be violated.
Okay, that's better. Yeah. If remember that the answers are going to be different, okay, depending. If chips were implanted in our bodies at birth, it would be more difficult to steal our identities. That is the answer I have, but more or less you have the same. Okay, very good. Joali, number two, the genetic engineering isn't prohibited.
Yeah. If genetic engineering were
Prohibited.
prohibited, ay, deja anoto eso. Prohibited. New projects could never be possible.
Okay, if genetic engineering were prohibited, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, our food would be much safer. That is the answer I have, but the one that you have is correct. Okay, Altair, number three.
¿Por qué siempre me toca la que no tengo, teacher?
I
A
don't-
ver, eso
Suele
pasó
pasar.
también en el mismo ejercicio. Bueno, no, en el anterior también me pasó lo mismo. A ver, is genetic, is human clothing was permitted?
Okay. Remember that you have to use always wear.
Always were. Okay.
Instead of was, use were.
Okay. So, is genetic engineer were, no, is human cloning were permitted?
Uh-huh. Now the result. What would happen? ¿Qué pasaría?
The technology might be developed.
Developed.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, very good. I'm going to read the answer I have. If human cloning were permitted, we might have doubles walking around, for example. All right. Okay. Andres, number four, the airplane was invented in the early 1900s.
If the airplane hadn't been invented in the early 90s, parcel shipments would be slower than today.
Okay, very good. I'm going to read the answer I have. Compare it with the one I have.
Okay.
If the airplane hadn't been invented in the early 1900s, modern travel would be different. That's the one I have. Okay, more or less you have the same idea. Joali, the dinosaur was made extinct.
Yeah. If the dinosaur had not been made, we will not be here.
Okay, I'm going to read the answer and then you compare it. If dinosaurs hadn't been made extinct, the world would not have evolved to where we are today. Okay. Remember that in this case, in the case of number 4 and number 5, you have to use the past unreal. Okay. Had been, in this case, had been made extinct, or in the case of number 4, in the 4, hadn't been invented. Okay. In the second part, you can use whatever you want. Remember that you have two options: have been or have been plus the verb in past participle. Okay, so be careful with that. Okay, Altair, number 6.
Okay. Writing language had been developed thousands of years ago. No, actually.
Yeah,
when
okay, the sentence is right. Written language was developed thousands of years ago. Okay, now what is your sentence?
the history of the other cultures will never have been known.
Repeat again.
The history of other cultures could never have been known, conocido.
Yeah, I know, but what is the condition? Remember that you always have to use if.
Yo pensaba que me había dicho que ya le siguiera. Sí lo había dicho, pero me feliz. Bueno, voy de nuevo. Is writing language hadn't been developed thousands of years ago. The history of other cultures could never have been known.
Okay, that's better, yes. Yeah, okay, I'm going to read the sentence. If written language had not been developed thousands of years ago, people would have had to rely on oral communication, for example, okay? But the idea here is the beginning. If written language had not been developed thousands of years ago. Okay, very good. Andres, number 7. Electricity was discovered in the 17th century.
If electricity hadn't been discovered in the 17th century, lives would be very different.
Okay, I'm going to read the answer I have. Is if electricity hadn't been discovered in the 17th century, other related discoveries would not have been made. Okay, very good, guys. Excellent. More or less, you have the idea. But remember, you have to check the time. You have to check the time in the active voice. Okay. For example, in the case of number 1, number 2, and number 3, they are in present. This is present because you have the auxiliaries in present. Aren't, isn't. So in that case, you have to use the present and real. But in the sentences that are in the past, was invented, was made, was developed, was discovered. In this case, you have to use past unreal. Okay, so always check those details. Present, present unreal. Past, past unreal. Okay?
Okay.
All right, very good. We're going to do the extra activities, so please pay attention. It says the passive voice in unreal conditional sentences. Choose the correct way to complete each statement. Okay? So be careful because there are going to be different options. Joali, you go first.
Yeah. If effective cures.
Cures.
No.
Cures.
Cures If effective cures for cancer and heart disease were discovered.
Okay. Were discovered. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Our life,
Millions of
millions
life
of lives. Uh-huh.
will be
Would be what?
saved.
Would be saved. Okay.
A ver, no estoy segura de esa última parte.
Okay, let's check the answers.
Yeah,
Yes?
that's right. It's
Okay,
correct.
correct.
Hey,
Okay, Andres, number 2.
if the smartphone had been invented,
Excuse me, can you repeat again?
if the smartphone hadn't been invented,
Okay, hadn't been invented. Uh-huh. Social
social
media.
media would never have been as popular as it is now.
Okay, let's check the answer, and the answer is correct. Very good. Altair, number 3.
If petroleum weren't used,
Weren't used. Okay. Uh-huh.
as the world's primary energy source, the world economies
Uh-huh.
will change.
Would be changed? Would be changed? Yes?
Yep.
Would be changed.
Yes.
Okay, and the answer is correct. Joali, number 4.
Yeah. The iPhone
The iPhone.
will never have been invented if Stephen Jobs
Wait,
hadn't
give me again.
returned.
Wait, give me a minute. Will never or might never?
Will never, porque no es condicional ahí, ¿o
Are
sí?
you talking about the future?
Pues como no hubiera sido inventado, ¿no?
Pero con el will estás hablando en futuro, no en pasado.
Sí, por eso, ¿no?
Por eso, o sea, ¿estás hablando del pasado o estás hablando del futuro? O sea, ¿es correcto decir, podría nunca haber sido inventado o será nunca haber sido inventado?
No, pues ya sí se escucha mal.
So, what is the
Obviamente.
correct answer?
Might never have been invented.
Okay. Can you read the sentence, please?
The iPhone might never have been invented if Stephen Jobs hadn't returned to serve
To serve?
as CEO of Apple.
Okay. Very good. Andrés, the last one.
Ah, ya entendí, es que estaba al revés.
Exactly. Es que primero
El
tienes,
resultado
primero
y
tienes
luego
y
la...
luego
Ah,
tienes la
sí.
condición. Okay. Very
Ya.
good. All right. Andrés, number 5.
If the majority of surgeries were performed by robots, remote surgeries would be more accepted.
Very good. Excellent, guys. Very good.
I don't think so, but that was the
That's good. That's
answer.
good. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay, very good. Excellent. All right. Let's do the next activity. It says the passive voice in a real conditional sentences. Complete each statement with the real conditional in the passive voice. Okay. Again, you have to check if the sentence is in present or in past. Okay. So let's begin with you, Altair. You're gonna give us the first one.
Okay. The pollo virus.
You have to decide if the
No
sentence.
hubiera sido, ¿no? Had been.
Okay. Had or hadn't?
Hadn't.
Okay, hadn't what?
Had been. Hadn't been discovered
Discovered? Uh-huh.
when it was. The vaccine had
Would always.
no wouldn't
Wouldn't? Wouldn't? Yes?
been developed.
No, you need the
I
auxiliary. Wouldn't?
wouldn't be. Yeah.
No, wouldn't, te falta el auxiliar.
Be, ¿no?
Esa es una parte, pero te falta otra.
No. Yeah. Have.
Wouldn't have
Sí,
been.
sí.
Wouldn't have been. What?
Developed.
Developed and
Many more people
would
have been
would have
been
been
got
polio like this. Let's see if the answers are correct. Okay, what is incorrect?
Yo diría que es no conseguiría polio, ¿no?
Exacto. So what do we need to eliminate? We have to eliminate been, right?
Gotten.
Yeah.
And the verb is got or what?
Participle. Participle.
What is the form
Yeah.
of the verb?
Participle. Past participle.
Gotten, like this. All right, very good. That is correct. Yoali. Okay, time out.
Yeah.
We have less than 1 minute. So let's finish here and we continue in the next one, please.
Yeah.
Okay.